Let us continue with our lesson, and before we continue and create our retrofit instance, if you notice here they have created a retrofit instance over here, and whenever we are creating we should have some endpoint. So let's say if you notice here they have a GitHub service, and whenever they are creating retrofit, that they have a retrofit instance over here, and they are calling retrofit that create and passing the GitHub service. So if you notice, this is a GitHub service over here. So if you notice that they are passing the endpoint over here, that if you notice, we have already created this one endpoint in our Laravel API project. So we just have to make use that API endpoint over here. So in order to, before we go and create a retrofit instance, we should have a list of endpoint that we are going to pass to create a retrofit instance. So if you see that GitHub service, and here they have created a service, and they have the endpoint set over here, which is of a get. So let's go to our project over here, and before we continue, let's copy this one and let's go back to our project, and in the top over here I'll mention that this is from here, so it will be easy for you guys to go back and check at this project link. So let me synchronize over here, and let me go to my Java section over here, and let's go to the package, model, and remote. So inside this remote I will go and create some endpoints. So I'll create one Kotlin, let's create an object, and I'll call it as a endpoints. Inside this endpoint object, we will place all of our endpoint. So whatever endpoint that we have, we will create a variable, constant variable for that endpoint. So later we don't have to write it manually, or later if you want to change this anything, we can just come back to this endpoint and we can pass it over here. So it's just a modular side of the project. So if you want to change anything, you can just come to this endpoint file and update our endpoints. So let's create some of the constant variable of let's say register register, and this should register our user, and it should be of API slash, I think it's register register the endpoint. This is the endpoint that we have created. If you still remember that we have already created this API endpoint in our Laravel project, so we are passing the same API URL above for here to sign up or register. And let's create another one, CONS constant variable of a login. So first of all, let's just create a two constant variable of register and login. So it should be API slash login and login. If you go back to the Postman, and if you notice that we have we have saved it over here, the to do, and inside this we have a register and login. So if you take the login, this is the base URL that we have, and this is our API endpoint. So the API endpoint is API slash register for register, and for the login, this is our base URL, and this is our API endpoint. So that is to find, so API does login and API slash register. So we have created the two constant variable for our API endpoint. So let's continue with our next lecture, and on the next lecture we will go and create the service that we will be making use. So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.